Alexandra here. It is July 15th. I thought it would be a good day to do a little check-in, a little tarot check-in, just see what is going on. We have Saturn station retrograde today, I think, and joining Neptune in retrograde, which I believe was last week. So it just feels to me like a really important moment to just sort of stop and look at things. I think a lot of clients, a lot of people have been coming to me um, with this sense of like trying to make sense of what is happening both in the world and in their lives. It's never easy to make sense of hard things that are happening, and it doesn't necessarily make sense. Sometimes we're having this experience, um, for reasons that no other human could tell you. And that, we're just here, we're experiencing it, we're doing our best. And I think, some piece of advice that I tend to rely upon in those moments is to accept deeply who you are and where you are, and not to lie to yourself, and to do your best by yourself and by the people you love and by the people that you can help. And just one foot in front of the other sometimes. That's the truth of it. This is a particularly active time, so one foot in front of the other is maybe we need to be like moving at a running pace rather than a simple walking forward. It's definitely a busy time. Getting into the cards, we're starting with the Chariot, and I think that this is a significant, interesting card for this reading. I was just really reflecting on, again, how to make sense of the world and in this time. And the Chariot is interesting because it really does reflect the conscious and subconscious um, in action together, and I think and either the horses carry the chariot forward beautifully, or they move in different directions. And I think because on a collective level, we're experiencing so much duality and so much, these sort of like parallel viewpoints, or parallel, like these two lines that seem as if they may never intersect, but they're both sort of running forward very rapidly. Um, that what some more rapidly than others. That feels really significant to me in terms of the collective energy. It feels to me like, humanity's shadows are really like, open wounds right now, that we're seeing. Our consciousness and our understanding is, the path between those 2 points feels really far away right now. And it's interesting because the unifying factor here is around focus and slowing down, which is interesting medicine, I think, for this particular time. Son of Pentacles. So it's slowing down, but it is still one foot in front of the other. When you slow down, and I think in a healing process in particular, to bring it more to a personal place, if you're rushing through things, you're not really seeing them, you're not really feeling them, you're not truly witnessing, you're reacting, you're on autopilot. Moving into this space of intentionality will pull us out of this sort of like, high speed train running off the rails, the crazy train. Bring us back into a place of intentionality. Like, how do we want to direct this chariot? Where do we want it to go? What is our future? Are there things that we're working towards, or are there things that we're running from? I mean, I think that is a pretty big question to ask. No, you do want to be moving forward. That we are at a crossroads here. The Two of Swords is indicating, a need for inner peace, a need for inner balance. It doesn't mean we're going to get it, but we're recognizing that need. There's this way in which we're testing the world, how we're taking in the world, how we're taking things in. We're taking things in a way to kind of digest what's possible. The Two of Swords frequently represents a decision where the path isn't obvious. You've got two offers on the table, neither of them are perfect. You're thinking about like, okay, well, none of these are really a full yes for me, but these are my choices. So I think there's always this part in which we show up for our own lives. There are opportunities that come our way, circumstances that present themselves, but they are what we make them. That's not just going to happen for us. And that is the beauty of the mind, is that we do have that creative capacity, um, either to meld ourselves to what's in front of us or to use what's in front of us to create something of our own making. What's before us right now is like, okay, we've got a bit of a shit sandwich in front of us. How do we make it taste good? How do we nourish ourselves in the midst of all this chaos? There are no easier answers here, is what I'm getting to. And we are requiring of ourselves to be creative in that process. Moving deeper into the future, we've got the Judgment card in reversal. So this is sort of like a slow motion ending of some kind. I think in the process of making decisions, we are centered in the chariot, which is very like self oriented. It also does represent the conditioned mind to a degree, just as much as it represents the aware mind and what we've been prepared for. But it does recognize that we're embarking on a journey that's relatively new to us. And in doing that, we are needing to leave certain things behind. Judgment in reverse feels to me like this is happening in slow motion. This is a little bit of a process of undoing. And I think that there's also certain things that like loose ends that are needing to get tied up, greater understanding that needs to come. And there is this kind of like it's fast paced and slow motion. That's kind of the feeling I get from these cards where there's just so much happening. And at the same time, our awareness, our intentionality, um, really needs to be present in order for us to get the most of this time within this larger uh, sphere of chaos and madness of the world. In the West, we have the Son of Cups, and I think that this is our um, desire for emotional care and stability, and a need to receive. So I think like that's something to reflect in. Like, what is the quality of your receiving right now? Are there people that you can be in that space with? Are there um, situations where you can be the giver, uh, or situations where you can be the receiver? And I would just say, like, always look out where you are, and if you're skewed to one side rather than the other, just to kind of like tip the balance, or find that balance for yourself. But the Nine of Swords and the Star. So this is a really profound time for healing in the collective, our collective anxiety. What are these collective anxieties that are happening? I could name a few, I could name several, but I think that this is maybe seeing your role in it, your place in it, your collective anxieties, or your anxieties that are shared on a collective level. And an important time to reflect on what may be real, what's true, what is true for you. Sometimes with the star, we're reflecting on things in a broader way. And, I think about this in life, sometimes people have very small lives. And I think like anytime I've met people where there was discordancy or God forbid they didn't like me or whatever. It's like myriad of situations or whatever. But I think that the one thing I think of is like I can see the narrowness of another's thinking, or the narrowness, the world, how the world feels really small. The star is saying like make your world big, make your world something that can hold everyone, because that's what it is. The star is. a sun that we can see that is not our sun, but it is like something that can be viewed throughout the universe. And our little Earth, our little lives on Earth, ability to create long-standing change, to become part of that universal light, or to have the impact of our actions, have long-term effects, which is why the intentionality really matters. It's the quality of that, and it's also recognizing that we are whole, we are one. Whether that's something you believe or not, we are all here together, experiencing each other in the human consciousness, um, with each other, regardless of what we think or say or do, how much suffering, how much privilege, how much action, inaction, how much health and vibrance, how much ignorance, how much wisdom. It's all like this soup of consciousness that we're navigating. We have to see our own role in it, and we have to see the truth of things. And polarity can offer you the tension to get to truth, but it doesn't offer the truth because it's a polarity, it's not singular. A deeper meditation for you all. In the north, we also have the Five of Cups. I forgot to mention. So this is, I would say, a mixed bag of energy that we're coming in from, that there's things that we're mourning, um, and graces. There are things that are gracing us at this time, or have graced us. And so we're again at a crossroads where we're choosing differently. And I think that this is a very, very powerful time of bringing together our action and our reflection. And if you can unite one polarity, at least to unite that one, to create some path forward for yourself at the very least. I think that's what I have for you for now. I'm wishing you all the best, sending lots and lots of love, and I will see you next time.